Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of Police Story 3, Supercop, a Hong Kong action movie from 1992 that was directed by Stanley Tong and stars Jackie Chan as well as Michelle Yeoh. Per the Eureka Blu-ray release, I'm kind of paraphrasing here, but this film features some of the most dangerous stunts ever performed on camera and represents the pinnacle of Jackie Chan's unique style of Hong Kong action filmmaking. A dazzling blend of gritty action cop drama, impeccably choreographed martial arts sequences, and bone-crunching stunt work. Michelle Yeoh joins this franchise as an inspector who teams up with Chan to take down an international drug ring. Both protagonists are sent undercover to Guangzhou in an attempt to befriend a top lieutenant within the organization played by Yuen Wah. But can they keep their cover long enough to take down the mastermind? Now, one positive to Police Story 3 is that it is a faster-paced movie when compared to its predecessors. Only 95 minutes long, which is shorter than Police Story 1 and 2, and the quantity of action is actually higher here. The action set pieces are placed at frequent intervals, with less downtime spent on things like story and comedy. There is some of that here, of course, but I would say that the action kind of outweighs it even a little bit. It really minimizes kind of like the filler in this. And we get a brief setup near the beginning, but after that, we're on our way. The story and conflicts are very focused, very straightforward, which is a good thing. We spend a lot of time with the villains here as well, which was one of my criticisms of Police Story 2. Jackie's character, though, he does some pretty terrible job of keeping his cover. He gives away some clues to the villains that he's not who he says he is. Even when the authorities give him tons of cover. Like, there's one scene in the middle where you realize, like, the extent to which the authorities are going to help him keep his cover. It's like the village scene or whatever that, you're just, like, shaking your head. Like, how much more help does this guy need? You know? But, yeah, as usual, the character still is pretty likable and kicks some serious butt. So that's okay that he's kind of, not the best undercover officer. But in my opinion, it's Michelle Yeoh who really adds the X factor to this film that makes Police Story 3 feel different from the last two films. Now, I'm a huge fan of the girls with guns subgenre of Hong Kong movie that was real hot during this era, 80s and 90s, and we get some of that flavor here. You know, her interaction with Chan exhibits some pretty great chemistry between the two. It's just fun watching them on screen together, and their combined participation during the action scenes is the main draw of the movie, and it does deliver. We get a handful of entertaining set pieces here. There's a training facility sparring match that's kind of short, but pretty good. You know, a nice little martial arts exchange. It's just kind of like warming you up. And then we get a prison escape scene that has a little bit of fighting, some entertaining stunts, one of which involves a zip line. Pretty good scene. Nothing fantastic, though. So if you've never seen this movie, at this point in the film, you're like, I don't know, is the action really going to deliver that well? But we're just getting warmed up. The scene when the action really comes alive, in my opinion, is there's like a village brawl with the cops who are not aware of our protagonist's undercover work. And that's the first time we get to see Jackie and Michelle fight in the same scene in this movie. Very good stuff, and it's immediately followed by a speedboat chase and shootout. So that's when things really start taking off, right? Then we get the best scene yet. Very explosive battle against heroin dealers who have their own army. And that's, this is a movie where the action just keeps elevating and crescendoing, which is kind of what you want in an action flick. You don't want the best stuff to be at the front of the film. And that scene, that explosive battle, could be my favorite scene of the movie, though. And then we get the finale. It involves a prison truck breakout and a helicopter shootout. And Eureka was correct in their Blu-ray description, because some of the stunts in this sequence, like the big finale in particular, pretty insane. Lives were definitely put at risk here. And, that's impressive. And the train scene, when I watched it, it reminded me of the Mission Impossible scene in the first Tom Cruise movie, the Mission Impossible flick that came out like 96 or something like that, only with a lot less CGI. So I've seen some people make those comparisons, and the comparisons are, I guess you could say, warranted. Now, as a total package, the action in Supercop satisfies. It definitely does. And it does feel a little bit different from the first two installments, even from an action design standpoint. It has a slightly higher, octane to it. It feels like a bigger movie, really. Ken Lo and Maggie Chung have small roles in this. Unfortunately, they kind of shoehorn Maggie's character into the plot by using some pretty bad writing during the second half. There's a scene where her character, it's basically involved in a ridiculous coincidence, and it's used to fuel the main conflict, which kind of makes it even worse. If they were just using it for a laugh, fine, but it's a pivotal moment in the movie, so really should have left that scene out or rewritten it, or just used something else to drive the plot forward. That's one of my criticisms here. But again, when all is said and done, Police Story 3 is just a lot of fun to watch. I actually prefer this to Police Story 2. I think I do, after my recent rewatches. I'm not, I still think the first one is the best of the original trilogy, but this it's very good. Currently available on physical media as well as streaming. So, again, if you haven't seen this trilogy, you got to check it out. And as always, we will see you next time.